rises from its own ashes, Prajwalit has risen from its own ashes to ignite our chemical engineering spirit.
We are very happy to present you to AIChE and ITR's Prajwalit, Igniting the Chemical Engineering Minds, the first ever virtual SIC. We believe that this is the best SIC we could have ever hosted and hope you resonate with that feeling at the end of these 3 days. Now, we would like to invite the current president of our student chapter, Abhishek Agarwal, to give a welcome speech for the opening ceremony.
Hello and good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the chief guests, dignitaries, faculty members, representative of different AIChE chapters, and my dear friends. Welcome to Prajwalit, the virtual student regional conference for the South Asian region. Thank you to each one of you for joining us today, and I hope that every one of you is doing good in these unprecedented times. It has been a long wait for SRC this year, but nevertheless, we are able to unite the young minds to showcase their talent in various upcoming events. AIChE is world's leading organization for chemical engineering professionals and has student chapters all over the globe. It is the biggest platform for any chemical engineer studying in any part of the globe. The AIChE NIT Raulkela chapter began its journey in the year 2016. Since then, our chapter has achieved many laurels and represented NIT Raulkela at national and international events. We have represented our country at the International Annual Student Conference of AIChE held at Pittsburgh, the USA in 2018 and at Orlando, Florida in 2019. It has also set milestones in the national competitions as Student Regional Conference, previously held at VIT Vellore and MIT Pune. The members of our chapters have been extremely enthusiastic to learn new things and are playing immense role in the evolution of a chapter through the years. We have been actively involved in organizing various events for budding chemical engineers and connect them to the industrial world. Also, being a part of the Conference Experience Subcommittee of the Executive Student Committee of AIChE, I welcome you all on behalf of the Executive Student Committee. Talking about various activities of the ESC, like K-12, which is a student chapter programs for various school students from kindergarten to 12th. We have organized some wonderful K-12 sessions for school students, and we are developing very rapidly for the K-12 outreach program as our Vice President Kanishk, who is the K-12 subcommittee chair of the ESC. And I would like to really thank him for all the support, and for he's really a support system for us, and for all the development we have been experienced in the past 3 months. Talking about the sister chapter program, as you guys saw the video, we have been very actively participating in various interactions with our sister chapter, which is North Carolina State University, and this partnership has certainly helped us a lot in our overall development. This won't have been possible without the constant hard work of each and every member of this team by giving their best, and the credit for them goes to, and credit for this goes to them. The constant guidance and support from our respected seniors, mentors, and faculty members have been very instrumental in our growth. Our chapter in AIChE NIT Raulkela is extremely excited about organizing Prajwalit virtually for the first time ever, and we hope you will have an extremely wonderful and knowledgeable experience from the events lined up for you. Once again, I would like to thank each and every one of you for attending the conference, and I welcome you all on behalf of AIChE NIT Raulkela chapter to Prajwalit 2020. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. With over 60 clubs registered under it, the Student Activity Center, SAC, is the central hub for student activities, student organizations, programming, events, sports, recreation, and fun at the NITI campus. AIChE NITI is also registered under the Student Activity Center. We are blessed to have the SAC President, Professor Simita Mohanty ma'am, currently with us. Ma'am, we request you to speak a few words at our opening ceremony and our conference.
Thank you, Sarat. On behalf of Student Activity Center, NIT Rourkela, I extend you all a very, very warm welcome to this innovative program by AIChE, Student Regional Conference, Prajwalit, Ignited, being organized by our AIChE student chapter. We are today truly honored to have with us Professor Binay Dutta, visiting professor, IIT Kharagpur, Professor Yunus, Cengel, University of Nevada, USA, and Mr. Devasis Chakravarti, ex-Chief General Manager, IOCL. It's truly an honor for all of us that such dignitaries have agreed to participate in this program. And from what I understand, students have come all over. I mean, not come. See how usual thing that comes to our mouth is attending a program physically, which is not happening right now. It's virtual. So students are participating virtually from all over the country. It's truly an honor for all of us. Our Student Activity Center, which I am the president, as Sharat has already said, it's a central hub of all extracurricular activities organized inside the campus. And just like, you go to Pattaya, Las Vegas, they say Pattaya never sleeps or Las Vegas never sleeps. In the same way, SAC never sleeps. At any point of time, you go to the SAC building, which is probably the most colorful building in the campus. You'll find someone or other strumming a guitar or somebody singing a soulful song or, some other ignited minds, ignited minds of the country, best ignited minds of the country, trying to brainstorm each other's brain to find out the best ways to get a sponsorship. So we have a very, very vibrant SAC club culture in our institute, which they're all registered under Student Activity Center. And we always encourage them to go for more and more such activities, which has paid off rich dividends for us. And today's program is one such program. I'm truly proud about this club, AIChE. Even last year, if I remember, their students had been to Orlando, USA and won some prizes. And this year, they are doing the regional conference, student regional conference. This club is a special one for us. In fact, all clubs are special, but some clubs are maybe more special than the others. And in spite of this difficult times the whole world is facing right now, when the pandemic struck, we at SAC never thought that we could be going ahead with any of our programs. But today I say it with real pride. Continuously starting from May 2020 till now, all our clubs are going ahead with virtual programs, webinars, competitions, online events. And it's really astounding how they have stuck to relentlessly they are moving ahead, organizing such programs. And AIChE Student Regional Conference is one such program. I know organizing something virtually, so very different and difficult from doing it physically. When you are here, you are able to meet people. But there must have been problems. There have been problems. But our students have really stuck with it and have tried their best to give you the best. So if at all there have been any issues, problems, please try to bear with all those issues and take it like from this, you are all on the same platform, I think you can understand how difficult it is to organize something sitting at your own home, and our students have been doing that. And it's so interesting that they have also arranged a musical night for you. When I got this application, for a few seconds, I was surprised that they have even thought of organizing a musical concert, virtual one, online one, which is so very interesting. And I hope you'll all enjoy this musical night along with all the academic competitions or other competitions that they have stored for you, like Chemi Safe, Chemi Chapadi, K2 paper and poster presentations, workshop and MATLAB, all these things. They can highlight, as our students can highlight this better. And I'm truly thankful to the faculty advisor also of the club AIChE. They have come up with such a wonderful conference, even though we are all, this WFH has become a new nomenclature to be used, being used by everyone right now. And so many new words have come into our vocabulary. So work from home we are doing, but we are all doing it together. So I hope you'll all enjoy this event, the next 3 days event, next days, 2.5 days event that we have. And I'm thankful to all the students. Of course, I don't know all your names, but a few of them, like I can say Ayushman, then Pritesh, Shorat, I can see, Abhishek, all these students, plus your seniors, mentors, maybe your department, the faculty advisor. And I'm truly thankful on behalf of SAC, all the vice presidents, particularly also Professor Srinivasan and Professor Chandar, the two vice presidents of Technical Society. So on behalf of SAC, I thank you all, and I wish you a very, very energetic and innovative 2.5 days of program. I wish you the very best. And the dignitaries, the invited guests who are here to give you talks, I think you'll all enjoy there and learn from them, enjoy their talks and learn from them. So wish you the very best. And our government tells us, and which has become a part of our everyday message right now, stay home, stay safe. Thank you, all of you. Please continue with whatever you have, with whatever you are doing with
Yes.
with
Yes. Hello.
Thank you, all of you again. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you all again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have the honor of having the head of department of chemical engineering, Professor Madhushree Kundu, with us. We request you, ma'am, to enlighten us with a few words.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. I would like to, first of all, I would like to say, respected Professor Yunus Cengel from USA. I don't think Professor B.K. Dutta has turned in, but I have seen that Professor B.K. Dutta was supposed to be here. Mr. Devashish Chakravarti, ex-Chief General Manager of IOCL. Professor Simita Mohanty, President SAC, NIT Rourkela. Participating student members and members of the AIChE NIT AIChE chapter, my dear colleagues, I welcome you all for this excellent, wonderful evening of the inaugural ceremony of Prajwalit, a conference, regional conference being hosted by our student members, NIT AIChE chapter members. And first of all, I would like to say a couple of, I would like to make a name of couple of students like Ayushman Panda, Conference Chair, Prajwalit, Abhishek Agarwal, President AIChE NIT AIChE chapter, Shivam Chaurashia, the convener, Prajwalit. For you people and most others, I do not know their names. You have made the things reality, this regional conference 2020. Prajwalit is having its origin in Sanskrit. It means ignited or illuminated. Truly, it is ignited with the spirit of chemical engineering. CIT or chemical engineering is a discipline having a lineage to Mother Earth. And in this pandemic situation, or in the present scenario of the planet, starting from pollution abatement to food and energy security, providing pure drinking water and fresh air to inhale, we are always pertinent there. We are the warriors to secure a sustainable future for this planet. NIT Rourkela as an institute is positioned within 801 to 1000 as per the World University ranking, and it has secured the 32nd rank in the National Institutional Ranking Framework, that is NIRF. So I would like to say a few words about my department. Actually, I am welcoming all of you here on behalf of my department, Chemical Engineering. Ever since its inception in the 1963, the Department of Chemical Engineering has witnessed a phenomenal growth in consonance with the growth of the institute. Located at a corner inside a sprawling campus, the department has undergone various architectural changes and expansions to meet the ever-increasing demands of UG, PG, and PhD students. Presently, it has two specializations in master degree, including one on energy and environmental engineering, apart from our BTech Dual, and PhD programs. Currently, 50 PhD students are pursuing PhD under the Institute Fellowships and under the sponsored research projects. Our faculty we are having 18 faculty members affiliated to 5 research groups, that is transportation, material separation, energy environment, and the modeling simulation group. Our faculty is having diversified, their research exposures and experiences, and most fortunately, 50% of the faculty members are below of the age group of 40. So you can see that we are having a very vibrant faculty over here, and the department has promoted of late interdisciplinary research work to a large extent. And here I want to mention that how really we have been encouraging our faculty and the students. Our faculty members have been encouraged to take various outreach activities, okay, so that they can earn the accolade for the institute and for themselves as well. And for the students, the department are encouraging the students to undertake various academic internship projects, including the METAX DAT fellowships. They are also encouraged to take internship in the premier industries of the country. The students are encouraged to have very regular interaction with the faculty members. We are encouraging students for hands-on sessions on various software tools as per the current trends. Now, teaching tools are being used right now for the online classes that are going on. Currently, in the previous semester, it was really picked up, but in the current semester, we are taking so much very much effectively. We are taking effort to make the teaching and learning process to as smooth as possible, and we are really giving a lot of value in regular evaluation of the students. We encourage the open book exams, project-based learning, and seminar teaching, seminar practices for the soft skill development among the students. We are encouraging the students for attending the conferences, workshops, and to enhance their existing knowledge and kind of social nexus they can form. And we are providing students guidance for writing research papers, technical report, and research projects. We are encouraging students for skill development in using the analytical instruments. In our department, there are TEM, that is transmission electron microscopy, UV visible spectrophotometer, GCMS, particle size analyzer, and TGA, etc. And we are encouraging our students to be really at par with so much so handling they can handle those analytical instruments. Our students are the ambassador of our sincere efforts and vibrant academic ambience in our in the for the department. And I see in my screen Professor Yunus Sanjal. Hello, sir. It is a nice and honor that we are sharing the web platform with you and with so many dignitaries. And in that regard, I am thankful to my student members that they have given me the opportunity to share the platform with such big names. And once again, I wish a very success of the Prajwalit. Thank you, and I welcome you once again. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our faculty advisor, Professor Viswajit Sahasra, has been a constant pillar of support for our club, helping us significantly. Sir, we request you to share a few words with our audience.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and good morning from the other side of the world who was in US or the other part of the world. Hope you are doing very well. And as a faculty advisor of AIChE NIT Raulkala, it's really my pleasure to welcome all the participants for this 3-day student regional conference, Prajwalit, organized by our active student AIChE NIT Raulkela student chapter. I welcome all eminent speaker and guests, Professor Scott Faulkner, Professor Yunus Cengel, Professor Binay Kumar Dutta, Mr. Devashish Chakravarti. Thank you all for accepting the invitation, for sharing your knowledge and vast experience with the students. And we are very fortunate to have you for this conference. Really, we appreciate your effort and time. This conference is completely conducted on a digital platform, totally in online, because we need to follow the COVID norm and guidelines provided by government. So in regards, I appreciate cooperation from all the participants. If you face any difficulties, please appreciate the effort put by our student. And I believe that everything will go well with this for this conference. And this 3 days conference aim to expose students to the industrial trends, focusing on the processing safety, emerging technology. There will be lots of the plenty of knowledge sharing opportunity through our presenter, eminent speaker, presentation by the student. Also, student has organized some competition, various competition, and we'll have lots of opportunity to learn from those activities. And I hope all activities of this 3 days conference would help students and expand their knowledge horizon, generate
I think Professor Saha is experiencing some technical difficulties. Sorry for the technical glitches, but now we'll move on to the address by our conference chair, Ayushman sir.
Thank you, Siddharth. Everyone, good evening. And I would like to thank Professor Simita Mahanti, Professor Madhusmita Kundu ma'am, and Professor Viswajit Saha sir. You have been really supportive of us. And I would like to thank Cengel sir, Chakravarti sir, and Cengel sir, Chakravarti sir for accepting to come and have a talk with us. I am Ayushman, the conference chair. Every AICHE has its student regional conference in different regions of the world. Last year, we won the bid to host SRC in NIT Rourkela, and it was a proud moment for us. We had started planning and had taken necessary permissions until March. However, God had some different plans for us. The coronavirus struck, and we were thinking that SRC we won't be able to host SRC. However, we didn't lose the hope, and ultimately we were given the opportunity to host it virtually. I'm happy to report to you that we have over 500 participants from over 28 institutes for the conference. I would also like to give most of the credits to my team who have been my pillar throughout these times and have been working non-stop for the last 2 months. I would also like to thank our Institute Student Activity Center for all their support and necessary permissions. A big thanks to department professors who have been helpful and supportive. It is very kind of them to have agreed to judge some of the events. Lastly, I would like to thank all the student chapters who have participated this year. Hope you all have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayushman Bhaiya. So a big thanks to all the attendees for sticking with us till now. Now we have three very eminent speakers in this meeting with us. And no matter how we describe them, it will fall short of explaining the full spectrum of their achievement. Anyhow, we'll try our best. So we'll start with Professor Yunus Cengel. Professor Yunus Cengel is a professor emeritus at the University of Nevada, Reno, USA. He received his PhD in mechanical engineering from North Carolina State University, who also happened to be our sister chapter, and served as a faculty member at the University of Nevada, Reno since 1984. He was the director of the Industrial Assessment Center and served as consultant in the areas of energy efficiency, renewable energy, and energy policies. Professor Cengel is the author and co-author of several widely adopted engineering textbooks such as Thermodynamics, An Engineering Approach, Fluid Mechanics, Fundamentals and Applications, Heat and Mass Transfer, Fundamentals and Applications, and many, many more. AIChE NITR extends a warm welcome to Professor Cengel. Professor, please address the audience.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to thank the American Institute of Chemical Engineers at the NIT Rourkela chapter for this organization of the Student Regional Conference, and thank you for the invitation. It was also nice to hear from the students at the North Carolina State University, because I have been there for 6 years for master's and PhD there. So it was very nice to hear some students from my old school there. And I hope you will have a very good, successful conference here. Now, today what I would like to do is discuss a few concepts that I think are interesting, just to share my thoughts. And I think you can see the PowerPoint presentation. It will be about artificial intelligence, integration and simplicity. And this is relevant to, I think, all branches of engineering, whether it is chemical, mechanical, electrical, whatever. I would like to emphasize these three terms: artificial intelligence, integration, simplicity. Because right now we see these three concepts involved in almost everything there. The age that we are in is really smart everything age. And whether we have a process, a product or service, whatever, unless we involve these things, especially artificial intelligence, then it is not really current. So artificial intelligence is the cross-cutting and enabling technology. We see more and more of it in everything. And integration is part of the game because unless you integrate the cross-cutting and enabling technologies into what you are doing, including education or production or service, then you are not current and you are not taking full advantage of what is available there. And simplicity is still very important. And simplicity often makes the difference. Unless something is accessible by others, then it doesn't go anywhere. And we shouldn't really overlook the importance of simplicity because, as Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. That is, making something simple is really difficult, and it requires sophistication there. Right now, the artificial intelligence is really the new platform. So I think it is across the board of everything which is happening there. And right now, from smart devices to anything really, anything that we use, we can see the artificial intelligence getting more and more capable. And right now, automation and robots that we use in our homes, working places, whatever. They also, I think, changing the way we live. And we have a new profession now called data analytics, and the data scientists or data engineers are really taking the center stage in energy system or other areas there. And to survive in this new environment, we need to develop new skills. Right now, for example, I showed an example that just using smart energy management systems, for example, in buildings, you can reduce the energy consumption by half. And to show the power of integration and simplicity, let's go back to year 2007 and remember the iPhone that Steve Jobs introduced at a meeting there. And if you look at the iPhone, it didn't really bring anything new. It had widescreen, which was available. Touchpad was available on iPods, no keys there. Cell phone was widely available. Internet was there, camera, whatever. So what iPhone did is integrate these features into one device and did it in a very simple, intuitive way, to the point that without involving anything new, as a result of this intuitive integration, it really changed the sector. So it caused a disruptive innovation, because at the time was Nokia, the king really, and then it redefined the cell phone there. And the philosophy of Steve Jobs, they had some differences of opinion with his partner, Steve Wozniak there. He says, simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean, to make it simple, but it is worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. So I think simplicity is very powerful. And right now we are using Zoom instead of another program. And probably the main reason is simplicity. It is very intuitive, very simple, although other programs are also very capable. And as an example of integration, because we will see this a lot, that is marrying technologies, integrating them. This car is from Toyota, and you notice that it has PV cells all over. Now, what is attractive here? If you leave this car in a parking place, okay, it can charge the batteries using solar energy enough to go 45 kilometers. And that means if you don't live far from your house and your workplace, they are close to each other, you may not need any gasoline or any household electricity for transportation there. So by integrating one technology, which is mature, photovoltaics, and also an existing product, which is the familiar car, you kind of redefine really the car. But of course, there are challenges. For example, I don't think the car looks very good. Certainly, we need, I think, to really incorporate the PV such that they are not even noticeable. And that will be a challenge. Another example of the power of simplicity is the electric versus hydrogen cars. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was questionable as to which one would prevail. My guess was always electric cars for the very simple reason of simplicity. Because the electric cars, they are truly simple. They don't have any, engines, transmission, combustion, this and that, very simple. Very few moving parts. As a result, low maintenance, nothing to go wrong, like membranes to clog, no fuel stations, etc. And you can also utilize the PV on the car roofs there. So these are advantages. These simplistic features, I think, made a difference there. Even though it has shortcomings like charging time, the limited range, and also number of charge and discharge there. But it also comes, with possibilities as energy storage device, because with a lot of electricity already stored in the battery, you can use it to meet the peak demand. So it brings versatility to the car and converts the car into an energy storage device. During peak times, for example, you can let the power company withdraw electricity from your car at a high price, and your car may be making money there. And artificial intelligence is important because this will be done by artificial intelligence based on a protocol. That is, the artificial intelligence will decide, which cars to tap, during what times, how much electricity to draw, to determine the price, all those things. So all these new cross-cutting technologies changing, I think, the sectors there. And even medicine. Right now, the Google's AI deep learning beats the radiologists as at detecting cancer. Their accuracy rate is like 94%. Of course, they will not replace doctors, but they will make the doctor's job easier and more effective and provide checking. That is, I don't think any patient will be comfortable just relying on the diagnostic of a machine right now. But if, let's say, the doctor's diagnostics and also this about AI's diagnostic, they point to the same thing. It kind of, confirms the diagnosis, and it raises, I think, the confidence level that that diagnostic is true instead of being false, which happens sometimes there. And autonomous, vehicles, autonomous, I don't know, planes, ships, airplanes, whatever, they are coming. Probably within 5-10 years, we will see a lot of those on the streets there. So, so entire sectors again will be changing. And in the production side, the Industry 4.0, they simply involve again, digital technologies, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, the big data, and the human-machine interface, whatever. So what we do is we take the Industry 3 and add these features that is integrate. And at the end, what we have is Industry 4.0. And unless we practice this new platform, then we will lose a competitive edge in the world there. Of course, with that comes the super smart society that the Japanese invented, Society 5. That is to be functional in this new environment, you have to acquire new skills. What skills? Now, the World Economic Forum, they conducted a survey and asked people the top 10 skills needed in 2020 for Industry 4.0 to be functional and effective in this new environment. And you see the list there. It is like critical thinking, creativity, complex problem solving, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility. The things that you are not learning at school. Now, it means that to be really effective, you have to go beyond the courses there, and you need to acquire and to improve these skills here. And we see again the same messages by engineering societies. For example, American Society of Mechanical Engineers. They surveyed the major employers, and their finding is, for example, companies want mechanical engineers with experience in additive manufacturing, robotics, computer and electrical engineering, mechatronics, system networking, and the Internet of Things. That is, people need to go beyond their disciplines in order to be familiar with this integration process and to work effectively during integration of different technologies into whatever process or product they are working on. And right now the data is becoming the major thing because we are generating a lot of data and the new data economy is involving again the use of this data, and data is used for description, diagnostics, prediction, and prescription. And at the end, you can make money out of these things. That is, you can convert this into something that is gainful for the individuals or the companies there. And the value of data scientists, it is increasing because we need people to really take this huge amount of data and develop the tools to make some sense of data. And the data-driven approaches right now becoming increasingly more valuable because our ability to store massive amounts of data and the computational power to crunch through the data and the advanced analytics to make sense of the data is getting better and better all the time. And at the end, what we are developing is take this data, the aggregating the data, then analyzing and monetizing. That is converting this data into something meaningful and creating value from it. For example, GE collects like 200 billion data points from 5,000 power generating facilities in over 60 countries in the world there. And they use the data to detect anomalies, to increase reliability, and to improve efficiency by way of machine learning and data analytics. And this way, by simply using the data, probably they are making more money than just selling new devices. So the way of doing business is also changing. But let's keep in mind that raw data is not knowledge. It is a lot of zeros and ones. They make no sense. So you need to convert it to something that makes sense. That is to convert it to knowledge, and then the knowledge is power. As a result, the mechanisms of converting data to valuable knowledge, they are improving. So we have right now better analytic tools there. And as a result, we gain better insight into everything, and it gives us opportunity to reduce the operational costs, to do the maintenance, improve efficiency, whatever. And of course, the data also has the dark side. There are challenges facing the data economy, like, again, you will be facing these problems no matter what you do in the future, like who owns the data, data nationalism, data security, protecting data, gaining access to data, to democratize data, value creation from data, monetizing data, cybersecurity, and data privacy. Now, you remember the Facebook and the problems that they had to deal with because of the data privacy problems there. And in 2015, Ukraine, the power outage there and the blackout. And let's say this huge building here, okay, just to show the importance of integrating AI, by making this a AI-powered autonomous building, the energy savings are like 40%. That is almost half. And this is like a, live organism, because if you look at your own body, we have like, I don't know, countless sensors sensing everything, feeding the information, and then the body is, responding to this information in a proper way to optimize the operation of the body and to maximize the benefits. So the same goes now with the buildings. That is, you have knowledge of what is going on at every corner, every room of the huge buildings like this, and you optimize everything. And the virtual reality technologies, they are being used, in plant design, in other things there, including like building virtual nuclear power plants, simulating operations. Therefore, before you have a production line, you can actually see virtually what will happen during that production there. And the new technologies like virtual reality and augmented reality, they are really everywhere. Currently, we use them in education, medicine, retail, construction, gaming, whatever. But we will see more of these in the future, both the virtual reality and especially augmented reality there. And as a result, the professions are changing. For example, mechanical engineering is changing into mechatronics, and chemical engineering will not be any different. Again, somehow, everything that you do will have to involve AI, VR, AI sensors, control, cybersecurity, IoT, coding, whatever. So they are becoming the cross-cutting technologies. And the definition of engineer is also changing. In the past, we were chemical, mechanical, electrical engineers. Right now, we are still those. That is, we have some depth, at least in one system and one discipline, but we also need to have the understanding of many disciplines and many systems. So we need the horizontal capabilities as well as the vertical capabilities. So the result is like a T-shaped engineer there. So I am coming to the end. That also comes with challenges, the artificial intelligence. For example, Elon Musk, he says that the AI-powered robots, they pose existential threat to humanity. Of course, many people disagree with it, but many people are concerned that the smart devices may take all the jobs, and they may not have jobs in the future. As engineers, we are not concerned because we are creative people. We have creative minds. We always produce, new products, new processes, new things. Whereas AI, no matter what, they are still a zombie. The key human traits are consciousness, imagination, creativity, taking initiative, and out-of-box thinking. And these are the features that cannot be coded. That is, you cannot have machine with these features here. They simply, work within the environment of, defined for them by the programmers, and they don't have those human features there. But the AI makes people more productive, more effective, and more efficient. Therefore, no matter what, smart people will always be the most important thing, even if AI advances, further. And the biggest asset of smart industries will always be natural intelligence, provided that it is supplemented with artificial intelligence. So with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. We are glad that you share all those precious information with us. Thank you so much. Professor, we have a question from one of the attendees.
Okay.
The question is from Daksh. It is, in a country like India, where the incentives of low-skilled jobs in factories are the reason they are led to be set up, in their results will be removed through the Industry 4.0. So how would you combat this issue and create incentives for people to let us set up new plants in such areas?
Okay, now anything we have new, we always have that concern. That is on employment, what the people do. But let's say like 100 years ago, like in late 1800s, when we had the sewing machines, again there were so many people, just earning their livelihood, just sewing, fabrics. When those machines could replace them, they were so outraged, and they simply attacked the factories and vandalized the sewing machines because they were stealing their jobs. Did it make any difference? No. Again, they were replaced. Look at, let's say, also 19, maybe 50s or 60s. We had a lot of operators in the telecommunications. Many people, they were working as switch people, just switching at the phone stations there. They were replaced by electronics. But look at the unemployment rate, let's say in the US, okay, forget the pandemic, it is like a few percent, 3-4%, the most industrialized country. Europe, not that bad. Every technology somehow, they replace some jobs, but they also create more jobs, and the jobs are better paying. Therefore, the comfort level of the humanity and the income level, it goes up. So no matter what happens, as long as you set your mind to be part of this change, to be, I think, in the race and be in the creation of the new technologies, you create probably more jobs than you are replacing. Simply, the jobs are becoming different, and the people need to acquire new skills.
Thank you, Professor, for answering this question. I hope it must be clear to the attendee. Thank you so much for your precious time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now we have Professor Binay Dutta, who is a professor at IIT Kharagpur. He received his PhD in chemical engineering from IIT Kharagpur. He has worked in teaching and research in 8 universities and institutes, including India, USA, Canada, Malaysia, UAE, 1.5 years with USCPA. Professor Binay Dutta has authored several books such as Heat Transfer, Principles and Application, Principles of Mass Transfer and Separation Process, Mathematical Methods in Chemical and Biological Engineering. Professor Binay Dutta has been involved in research and development in several areas in a number of institutions and organizations in India and abroad, supervising many PhD students, got inventions patented in USA, Europe, and Malaysia. So I would like to invite you to share some few words with all of us. Yeah, please, sir.
Okay, thank you for your kind introduction. The Prajwalit team representing AIChE student chapter at NIT Rourkela, the organizer of this conference. It is a huge conference and very, very impressive because I got to know when Madhusri told, or some of you were telling that, well, about a few hundred students from all over the world, they have joined this program. It is absolutely amazing. Look, we can see it from another direction, another way, that this COVID pandemic has brought a disaster to the whole world. But say these online programs, the programs or conferences on the virtual platform, we did never think about it before this COVID-19 was there. So now, a few hundred students from all over the world, they are joining this program without physically being present here. So that can be considered, that can be taken as a benefit. I should not say benefit, but something we got in this pandemic situation. Okay, so this Prajwalit team and Professor Simita Mohanty, Professor Madhusri Kundu, all the faculty members. Professor is an illustrious professor, Professor Yunus Cengel, an illustrious professor, and he is known for his research as well as a very good number of textbooks which have been adopted by many universities all over the world. In fact, a few of the books I have in my own collection in my library. And it is my great pleasure to be among you, especially among this huge number of budding chemical engineers. And thanks to the organizers of this AIChE student chapter for taking this initiative and for asking me to be with you in this program. I will not make a formal presentation, but I'll go back a little bit to trace out the development of chemical engineering, because many of us, I have seen many people, even many mature chemical engineers, if I ask them, tell me what is the definition of chemical engineering, many of them offhand cannot come up with a good definition of chemical engineering. Then what is chemical engineering? When did it start? Did the chemical engineering education start? What are the different phases of changes and transformation of chemical engineering? Where we were there before and where we are now? What is our responsibilities? What is the expectations of the society to us, the chemical engineers? So I'll just trace out these things without making a formal presentation. And I greatly appreciate the name of this conference, Prajwalit. It means ignited. And in fact, it reminds me of the book, The Ignited Minds, written by our ex-president, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, a great book. So I love this title, this name, Prajwalit, ignited. To begin with, I wish to tell you, especially the student delegates, that when did this area of engineering it begin? Formal education of engineering, it started about 500 years ago, and it started with civil engineering program. But the practice of engineering is much older, much older than the formal formal engineering education, and it started in early days, like just remember the pyramid of Giza, the hanging garden in Babylon, the Great Wall in China. The Great Wall in China, it is about 6,500 miles long, 6,500 miles, and at some places its width it varies from about 40 feet to say 60 feet at the 40 feet at the top and 60 feet at the bottom. I had an opportunity to walk over that part of that Great Wall of China some time ago. So these are the engineering marvels in early days. It is pertinent to tell you in this program, since it is a program of chemical engineering students, that when did the chemical engineering education start? In what form? In fact, the first program in chemical engineering, the education in formal education in chemical engineering, it started. Many of the today's chemical engineers don't know it, because we are very often forgetful about our history, about our past. That is a common feature of for us, the humankind. And it started at MIT in the year 1888. The first undergraduate program in chemical engineering, and I may tell you that first doctorate in first PhD in engineering was Willard Gibbs. All of you may know about Gibbs equation, Gibbs free energy. So those things were proposed by James Willard Gibbs, and he was the first PhD in engineering in the year to trace back in the history. In the year, I believe it was 1863, he became the first PhD in engineering. Anyway, so chemical engineering education started in the US, as I told you, in 1888, and in many other countries it followed, and in our country, the first program in chemical engineering started in the University of Calcutta in the year 1920, about just 100 years ago. And then next year, in the year 1921, it started in the Jadavpur University, and thereafter in many other universities, the chemical engineering program started. Then engineering, like any other profession, it aims at serving the mankind. We the engineers, our aim is to serve the mankind. We are serving in different way, and the present maturity of engineering has reached a level that Professor Cengel told that very often we have developed such kind of instruments, such kind of devices, robots and robotics. They can do many jobs for us and serve us in a much better way than engineering used to. About a few months ago, my daughter who lives in Boston, once she told me, well, I have bought a floor cleaner, a vacuum cleaner. That is a robotic. I don't know whether it has come to our country, but she told me, and she showed me how it is operating. It is just about 8 to 10 inch diameter disc shape, and it is programmable. It is programmed, and in the morning it wakes up. That machine, it wakes up at 6 as it is programmed, and it cleans the floor, cleans everywhere, and then it goes to the place where it rests and gets charged. So that also it does automatically. Everything is automatic. So now we are serving the mankind, the engineers, serving the mankind to this level. I don't know, sometime may come when we may not have to do anything. We may be totally idle and all the instruments will do everything for us. Anyway, so this, as I told you, that our profession, for that matter, any profession is aims at serving the mankind. That is our objective. And in fact, what is the definition of engineering? In fact, I was teaching a course at Vizag, in the Institute of Petroleum and Energy. I was teaching a course there some time ago, and at that time I was tracing the history of development of engineering and also chemical engineering in a way that I can teach that course, beginning or preliminary course on chemical engineering. At that time, I came across a very cute definition of engineering, a one-liner, one sentence. That is the definition of engineering. Engineering is the conscious application of science to problems of economic production. Engineering is the conscious application of the principles of science to the problems of economic production. We just convert material and energy in a useful form to the mankind. And what is the definition of, how do we define chemical engineering? A formal definition of chemical engineering was proposed by AIChE, of which your student chapter is a part. So it was proposed by AIChE in the year 1922, and later on some changes occurred, and in fact the definition changes twice after that, with a change in the course and curriculum, the change in research in chemical engineering, changes in the demand of the society from chemical engineers. And that definition runs like this: that chemical engineering is a profession in which a knowledge of, I don't know whether you people came across this definition ever, but I suggest you please do, because any student of any branch of engineering, I believe they should know the precise definition of what chemical engineering means. The chemical engineers should know. So it is a profession in which a knowledge of mathematics, chemistry, and other natural sciences. How is that knowledge? How do we get this knowledge? This knowledge is gained by study, experience, and practice, and it is to be applied with judgment. To develop economic ways of using materials and energy for the benefit of mankind, because the ultimate word is the benefit of mankind, for which all the professionals are devoted to. In order to enhance the cause of the profession, there have been many professional societies. In every profession, there is an institution or society of chemical engineers, society of civil engineers, There are institutes of chemical engineers. AIChE, American Institute of Chemical Engineers, is there in the US. And in our country, perhaps you know that we have an Institute of Chemical Engineers, which was established long ago in 1947. The year we got independence, it was established in the same year, and it has quite a number of more than 40 students chapter we have of Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers. The discipline of chemical engineering is very versatile and vibrant. Why is it so? Not only because I am a chemical engineer, but I sincerely believe that chemical engineering is the most versatile branch of engineering, because in the way of its development, in the way of development of teaching and research in chemical engineering, application of chemical engineering, we have gathered knowledge from so many other disciplines. We are very assimilative. We have assimilated a lot of knowledge and idea from inputs from many other branches of science and engineering, and that made us most versatile branch of engineering according to my belief. And this chemical engineering education also, look, now you have a course and curriculum, but just imagine what was the type of curriculum maybe 100 years ago, maybe even more before that, when the chemical engineering was in its infancy. What was the kind of curriculum? So it started with a concept, initially this chemical engineering curriculum was based on unit operations. You have also read books on unit operations by Matthew Smith, unit operations in chemical engineering. But the beginning was with unit operations, but unit operations are more or less empirical. All the calculations and other things we used to do with chemical engineering were based on empirical equations. You have also used many empirical equations in your textbook. You have used it in your calculations, in your design. So that was the age of empiricism, the age of unit operations. Then a paradigm shift, of paradigm occurred in early 60s with the publication of the book by Bart Stewart and Lightfoot, the transport phenomena. Maybe many of you are familiar with that book. So then the next paradigm was the age of transport phenomena. We started to rely more on the scientific basis of design and analysis of process equipment rather than relying on empiricism. So that was the age of transport phenomena, the second paradigm. But the change everywhere. Change is a perpetual character. So the more changes occurred, and we began to rely more on scientific principles, not only of basic chemistry, but from all natural sciences, all other disciplines, even from medicine. We borrowed knowledge, we borrowed ideas from different disciplines, and the chemical engineering became more and more, its horizon expanded more and more, and it became more and more divergent. Its scientific and mathematical basis has been strengthened over the decade to bring it to the present form. There have been radical changes in course content, as I told you before, in curricula, in incorporating latest news from other areas, and the whole world now. That is briefly how the evolution of chemical engineering occurred from the age of unit operations to age of transport phenomena, and the age that does not have a unique name, but some people say that it is the age of chemical engineering science. Okay. Now the whole world, all of us, we are at a crossroad. Not only because of this COVID, that is a very recent issue, but we are at a crossroad. We are at a critical juncture. Why? Because of the overriding problems in depletion of natural resources that we collect all our for our living, for our daily living for we collect materials which are produced by transformation of the resources in nature, and that is gradually being depleted. We are using more and more fossil fuels, although there are frantic efforts to utilize all alternative sources of energy. Even then, about 80% of the energy we consume, it comes from fossil fuels, and that is releasing a lot of carbon dioxide. In spite of all these this conference of parties, their conference that great initiatives to reduce CO2 emission. In spite of all these things, the carbon dioxide emission is a reality. It is increasing, and there is it may not be a reality that we get rid of release of carbon dioxide in near future. Although many countries, they are making a plan that we will be carbon neutral. In fact, some time ago, maybe a few days, about a month ago, I read somewhere that a research proposal, that has been very big research proposal, that is being that has been funded by National Science Foundation of USA. That in that proposal, a very young researcher who is the principal investigator, he claims that he will develop some devices which are carbon negative. Just imagine, carbon negative. That is at least what is there in his imagination, and I wish that his imagination comes true. So, in spite of all these initiatives, there is a good deal of release of carbon dioxide. Global temperature is on the rise. Hardly, I don't know whether that target of keeping the global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees centigrade by the middle of this century, whether it will be realized or not. We wish it will be realized. But on the other hand, we have to utilize the carbon dioxide which we emit. So there is a huge program going on at many places, at many universities, in many research institutions, in industrial research also. They are developing methods to capture carbon dioxide. Earlier, they were more inclined to sequester carbon dioxide, say storing carbon dioxide, maybe underground, maybe in saline aquifers. But now, the more emphasis is being placed on utilization of carbon dioxide, making new chemicals from carbon dioxide, even making clean fuel from carbon dioxide. So that kind of efforts, and the chemical engineers are playing a big role in these such initiatives. And this is on one hand, this carbon dioxide release and global warming, all these things. On the other hand, there is a good deal of pollution of the environment, pollution of air, pollution of water, pollution of soil, and this continued unabated. In spite of all our efforts, the pollution level is increasing. So this has also brought to us a plethora of challenges, and we chemical engineers have to face these challenges, and we have to solve these problems for the benefit of the mankind in the long run. One more thing I'll tell you, that the shift of paradigm in chemical engineering research, a point of shift in the paradigm, it occurred in the year 1988, when the National Science Foundation, they requisitioned a report on the future direction of chemical engineering research, and that report was prepared by a team headed by the celebrated chemical engineer Neil Amundsen. I don't know whether you have heard the name of Neil Amundsen, because we hardly ever try to go back into the history. We are always so much busy with the present and also the future. We don't go back into the history, how a discipline emerged, how it evolved, what happened. So, in fact, that Amundsen report, it gave a direction of evolution in engineering, chemical engineering research. Particularly, they aimed at materials, coming up with new materials and new techniques of synthesis, strategies of synthesis, especially biosynthesis, because that is much less energy intensive. It does not involve a lot of waste generation and many other things. And the field of research has, the direction of research has changed a lot during the recent years, and we are being exposed to newer problems, and we are making efforts for newer direction of research. As I told you that now we are using all these recent technologies like biotechnology and nanotechnology. These are doing miracle. These are doing miracle, and this kind of things, the direction of research and the need for research, this need should be felt. This should be inculcated in the minds of these budding chemical engineers, the people we are addressing today, a few hundred budding chemical engineers from different countries. So this need for research, excursion into newer areas, and to foresee the problems. So we know today's problem. We should foresee what kind of problems will come after 25 years, after 30 years, and we should prepare ourselves for that. It is not that that problem has come, we find out the solution. We should anticipate what kind of problems may come in future, and we should prepare ourselves for that, so that we can serve the mankind in a much better way. Professor Cengel told us a lot about what are the current recent developments. In fact, in the last decade, a lot of developments occurred in the area of data analytics, then artificial intelligence. In fact, look, this artificial intelligence, some people they have used this strategy of artificial intelligence. They have used the power of artificial intelligence even for designing a catalyst, because we design a catalyst for some specific purposes, and the nature of the catalyst, it depends on how it is made. And so artificial intelligence, our previous knowledge about development of catalyst and performance of catalyst can be used to develop new catalyst, and some people they are working on application of artificial intelligence for development of catalyst, and many other things came on. A very interesting one is, and very powerful one is, clustered regulatory interspaced short palindromic repeats, CRISPR gene editing technique, which was developed early last decade. That have been abused also, because one Chinese scientist he is now behind the bar for abusing this gene editing technique. That is another story. So the chemical engineers of tomorrow need to learn all these things. What are the current developments in the area of knowledge? What are the forthcoming problems we anticipate? And we should prepare ourselves. We should direct our research in the direction of anticipated problems, so that we can serve the mankind in a better way without waiting for the problem to come. We should anticipate the problems and then make us prepared to face the challenges. I must point out one thing, that I was just checking the net, and then I got quite a strong information that the participation of chemical engineers, even in taking up the challenge of COVID-19 pandemic, the chemical engineers have joined the virologists and researchers in life science, and they have joined this struggle to come up with new medicines and the vaccines for COVID. So we are playing our role even to take up the challenge posed by COVID-19. Before I end, I'll tell you that in our country, particularly, we have to devote our efforts to make us self-reliant in many areas. We are self-reliant in quite a few areas, but we have to be self-reliant on many other areas that our Prime Minister gave a call to the nation, that we have to be Atmanirbhar, we have to be self-reliant, and we have to produce all the things ourselves here, and we have to take up this challenge. So Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I hope the chemical engineers of today, they will also keep this call in mind that we have to do research and development work to make our country self-reliant in the areas in which we still depend upon import, and sometimes that becomes our Achilles heel. So thank you very much. I have told a few things about how chemical engineering evolved over the decades, and how chemical engineering, direction of chemical engineering research has changed, and what are the expectations of the society from chemical engineers, how we can work with people from other disciplines to tackle these problems. And at the end, we should leave no stone unturned to make our country Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I wish all success of this huge conference scattered all over with participants from all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for those lovely words. Myself, as a chemical engineering undergraduate, it was great to know about the genesis of chemical engineering and also like trace the origin of engineering as a whole. Thank you, sir, for that lovely speech. So we have a question for you from our ex-president of our club, Karan Saxena. Karan Saxena, sir. His question is, could you please enlighten us on the role of computation in the field of environmental engineering? Also, what are the current areas of research in the field of computational environmental engineering?
Yes. Let me first tell you the computational the area of computation. Look,
yes,
we the engineers, we use all scientific tools. We use all scientific tools to make us able to serve mankind, the mankind in a better way. So we use scientific tools, and these computational tools, these are general tools. These are not specific to any particular application. Now, the question is how it can be used for environmental engineering for the cause of pollution control. Look, the pollution control and how pollution spreads in nature, this has a special relation with chemical engineering courses and chemical engineering education, because this thing gets dispersed. It is dispersion, it is turbulent diffusion, right? The molecular diffusion, it occurs in soil, in stagnant medium like soil, and turbulent diffusion occurs in air and in water. And there has been a lot of research efforts have been devoted to how to predict the dispersion of pollutants in water, in air. Say when an emission comes out from the chimney, how quickly will it disperse in the adjoining areas? What will the impact? When say wastewater, if a wastewater, untreated wastewater, it reaches a water body, reaches a stream or a river, how does it get dispersed? So in these areas, the computational techniques have been greatly used by chemical engineers and environmental engineers. If you open the relevant journals, you will see so many applications of computational techniques in environmental engineering. And was there another question from the same person?
Yes,
one was on computation, application of computation. Another?
So what are the current areas of research in the field of computational environmental engineering?
Okay, current areas of research, that is also I have addressed that part also. It is mainly these computational tools are used for mainly for dispersion calculation, right? So mapping how we can map the dispersion of pollutants, maybe in soil, maybe in groundwater. Look, groundwater also flows. It is much below the surface of the earth. But even then, there are examples of flow of groundwater, right? Then how, say, any pollutant, it diffuses through the soil, it eventually reaches the groundwater, then how does it get dispersed? And a lot of computational tools have been used to make prediction, and these have been substantiated by experimental calculation, by sampling and experimental measurements. I don't know whether I have been able to answer the question, but that is what I have to say.
No, sir,
Any
you
other
answered
question?
it. No, sir, that will be all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So in the chat box section, Professor Cengel has been answering many questions. Thank you, sir, for entertaining these questions we couldn't put forward to you, but you went out of your way to answer them. Thank you, sir, for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And so now we'll move to the last speaker of the evening. Mr. Debashish Chakravarti is a chemical engineer from the University of Calcutta. He has done his MBA from University in Slovenia. Mr. Chakravarti joined IOCL in 1982 as a graduate engineer. He has worked in several departments, mainly in operations and technical services, and was also an important member of commissioning of Panipat refinery. He was awarded with the prestigious NPMP award by Government of India in 2000 for his outstanding achievement. He retired from IOCL in June 2020 as Chief General Manager. A warm welcome to you, sir, from all of us at AIChE and Raukela. The audience here can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you, Siddharth, and respected Professor Yunus, respected Professor Binay Dutta, who was incidentally my professor also when I was a student in Calcutta University, respected Mrs. Mohanty, and also Professor Mrs. Kundu. In fact, today morning I was talking to Professor Dutta. I heard that Professor Kundu is also a alumni of my college, that I was not knowing. And my dear organizers of this wonderful conference, Prajwalit, and the listeners, mostly students all across the globe. Engineering is one of the very noble profession, actually, but in my opinion, it is one of the fantastic profession in the world. Giving an example that the stethoscope is made by engineers, actually, not by doctors. So not telling anything about other profession, but about my profession. I am very proud of my profession, and also all of you must be very proud of your profession, whether you be in industry, in academics, in the R&D, or in design company. You must be very proud of your own profession, actually. So being a chemical engineer, fundamentally a chemical engineer passed out from Calcutta University in 1982. I spent my whole career in oil and gas industry, specifically in refining industry, where we take crude as a feed and produce different types of fossil fuels for generating energy in various equipment, machines, and whatnot. If you really see the chemical industry in general, the process technology has undergone a lot of changes over the years. Even I have seen in my service career, a lot of changes has happened in the process technology, especially in the process itself, generation or production of many new products as per the market demand, improvement of energy, reduction of pollution or the improvement of the environment, and also a lot of improvement in catalyst technology, a lot of improvement in chemicals technology. A lot of new chemicals have been produced indigenously, which has been mostly imported, exclusively imported chemical. In fact, I don't know whether you have seen today's newspaper. There is a company in Baroda. In fact, I stay in Baroda. There is a company itself in Baroda, which is called GSFC. So they have started producing a new chemical, calcium nitrate, which is basically a nitrogen fly fertilizer. And also another one more chemical, that is boron calcium nitrate, which is also another fertilizer basically. So India is growing in the process technology from maybe last 50 years. People are growing in process technology. Although we are really growing in process technology, but if you see the fundamentals of the engineering or the technology, that remains more or less same actually. If you see a distillation column, it is still vertical, and there is you will not find a horizontal distillation column. So it is all vertical distillation columns. But what we have done over the years is the basic process technology in a distillation column, or maybe change in internals. Many distillation columns are fitted with, say, packed beds, structured or random packings. Different types of trays has evolved over the years. If you see the vacuum distillation columns in a refinery, there is no distillation tray actually. It is all packed columns. So nowadays things have improved from the process technology point of view. Considering the present economic scenario under this pandemic, there will be a lot of challenge in the world actually, not only in our country. Our country will be very heavily affected by this pandemic. And if you see today's newspaper, the RBI governor has said that the GDP will shrink by 9.5%, which has a lot of ramification in the industrial life as well. The industry will not grow very quickly, which was growing before the pandemic, in the earlier part of this year. So that will be a case because, for example, this month, this October, November, it is a very peak demand month of diesel, but the diesel demand has not picked up even today also. So most of the refineries across India are running at under capacity. So even the Gujarat refinery, where I have worked recently, is running at about 80% capacity. So many refineries are now running at under capacity. Normally refinery runs more than 100% capacity. So normally IOCL refinery run at about 102 to 104% capacity. But this year, this financial year, starting from the April onward, our company or most of the oil companies are not running at full capacity. So this will take some time, maybe a few years to normalize. So once the industry does not grow, then the job avenue for engineers will also come, especially in industry, come down, especially in industry. So only the fittest will survive in industry. Many of the companies I know personally, especially some of the design companies, very multinational design companies, and also some private sector industries, they have done a lot of retrenchment actually. And in recent past, for last few months, there have been lot of retrenchment across the industries. So as a student, what you have to do is you have to continue to learn things actually. That is most important. There are avenues. Industry is not the only avenue for any engineer. You can go for academics, you can go for research and development, you can go for design companies. So not only industry is the only alternative, but you have to be ready actually. You have to be mentally fit now actually. Make yourself fit through your education, through your learning, so that you are fit to any position, any position. This is like becoming an all-rounder in a team actually. Most of you must be now seeing the IPL, and found in this IPL there is very few all-rounders actually. And if you have to be an all-rounder to fit into a good team actually, and fit to an industry or fit to an engineering industry, you have to be all-rounder. You have to learn many things, and actually in engineering science, there is no expert in engineering science. You have to continue to learn till you die. Normally people wrongly call some knowledgeable people as expert of this field, expert of that field, but they are not really experts actually. They are all good students. So there are three types of students in engineering. One is good student, and it is bad student, and one is ugly student. So you have to be a very good student to survive in industry. Industry is a very, very tough place actually. It is not a very easy place to survive. So you have to struggle throughout your life to survive and to be afloat in an industry. Regarding future challenges, you will find that one of the major challenges will be that the economy of scale of an industry. The environmental issues will definitely be a big thing in another 10-15 years. And it should be actually. It should be environmental control, environmental concern. Has to play a big role in industry for years, the next few years to maybe some decades to come, because the world is not shaping up well with respect to environment. There is lack of political will across the world, lack of knowledge among people, and also lack of concern among people. That actually hurts the environment most, rather than anybody else. So the biggest sufferer of this thing is really the mankind or any living being, including plants and trees. So that will be a big challenge in years to come, maybe decades to come, because still people are not very much concerned about environment. I think this pandemic will certainly teach something to the human generation, at least this generation, that you have to be kind to the environment. And today also, when you go out in the morning for a morning walk, you will find the environment is little cleaner. And you like to breathe well actually. Everybody has this right to breathe well, to survive well without much of diseases. But the things are not very conducive for environmental well-being. Then then come to the because I have worked in energy industry for a long time. The main thing is that how the fuel pie will be in the future. If you see the present fuel pie, as Professor Binay Dutta, whom we fondly called him Binay, what Binay told is that the fossil fuel is still capturing about 75 to 80% of the whole energy pie. Say about nuclear power, or say solar power, or non-conventional energy has a very small role actually in the whole energy pie across the world. And coal and petroleum are the major thing, major fossil fuels. Petroleum is about 34-35%, and coal is about 40-45%. Natural gas has a very small pie, actually very small area in a pie. So this fossil fuel must be replaced by something, some energy, maybe hydrogen fuel, or maybe electrical energy. But it is just foolish to replace have electrical energy replacing the fossil fuel And when the electrical energy is generated by fossil fuel. So if you generate the electricity by burning coal in some 100 kilometers away, and use that electrical energy as a electrical vehicle in a city, that does not serve the global purpose. That serves a very local purpose. So you can replace the petrol or diesel vehicle with a EV in a city. But if you see the global perspective, you have not achieved anything actually. Rather, you have spoiled something, because to generate electricity, the power plant has some efficiency. So that loss of efficiency in generating electricity will definitely increase your global warming. So if there is some other method, say if we generate electricity by solar energy, or by say hydel energy, or maybe say wind power, then that EVs are doing good to the world. Otherwise it has absolutely no value. In the say in petroleum sector also, we were maybe 25-30 years back, we were mostly focused on generating fuels, say petrol, diesel, kerosene, LPG, and say fuel oil. Those things are all the really the main products of a refining industry. But nowadays that the paradigm has shifted. Last 20 years back, that only fuel refinery, we used to call them fuel refinery. So fuel refineries are not at all economic actually nowadays, not at all, absolutely not economic. So what we are shifting is that we are slowly shifting to more in say petrochemical industry. So Reliance has a very big petrochemical, even Paradip refinery or IOCL has a very big petrochemical. They are slowly doing petrochemical. They have started with polypropylene. They are now they are installing an MEG plant, sorry. And in Gujarat, in Panipat refinery also, we have a very big naphtha cracker. Gujarat also, we have one small petrochemical plant where we produce LAB, linear alkyl benzene, which is used finally in detergent industry. And also in another 5 years, we are going to have a polypropylene plant here. It has already been, this project has been approved recently, very recently. I think it is on 21st of September. This project has been approved. So the refining industry is slowly going away from generating more fuels, and they are migrating towards petrochemicals, and then then this industry will slowly migrate to generating, producing some specialty chemicals, some specialty catalyst actually. So for the hydrocracking or say fluid catalytic cracking, we can produce catalyst, although the technologies are not with us, but we have developed some in our R&D. We have developed some technology, catalyst technology. So when you complete your graduation, post-graduation, or PhD in your career, please try to enter into some area where you can develop some technologies actually, and which will be good, because maybe the normal conventional industry will not be that attractive in future. Maybe another 15-20 years, conventional in industry will not be very attractive, or may not grow that fast, considering the new challenges, because a lot of new technologies are some invasive technologies are coming. The Professor Yunus was explaining about AI and all these new things, Internet of Things. So that will change the industry. So the research and development will get a lot of priority in industry. Even nowadays, most of the industries are so much automated. In some of the industry, I heard say five plants can be operated from a single location which is far away from those plants. Maybe few thousand kilometers from the plant that can be operated. Now we also operate plants from quite some distance from some are operated from few kilometers away from the real plant. But it will be maybe few hundred kilometers from a real plant. So these things are happening. A lot of automations are happening in industry. The role of engineers will be more in industry in a new area, actually new area of developing these automations and less of manual intervention, because once you have manual intervention, there is a chance of any mistake, actually, because human being is prone to mistakes. So, and the industry cannot afford a mistake. Any shutdown of a plant even for a few hours or for a few days is a big loss for any industry. So with this condition of very high competition, industry cannot afford to lose a single ton of production. So to be very competitive in the industry. So your challenge will be to develop yourself, continuously develop yourself, continuously learn new things. In fact, when we passed out in 1982, we had very little knowledge of computer. Everything on computer we learned, whatever we could learn is after coming to our industry. So you will also learn some new things when you also pass out maybe this year, next year, or maybe another 1 or 2 years. Please continue to keep your eyes open, actually, ears open, and continue to learn things, because you need to learn throughout your life. Even today also I learned something. Every day I learned something. So you continue to learn till you die, actually. And I will not continue for long. So I will thank you all for giving me a chance to be a part of your fantastic conference. And tomorrow, of course, I will be there when the participants will give a presentation. Then, in fact, I have given a problem statement for that. So those who are listening to me and also participating in the competition tomorrow, we come prepared with all the things, and for getting a first, second, or third prize. So all the best to all of you for this new conference, this fantastic conference. So best of luck.
Thank you so much, sir. We will all the chief guest talks are over, and we are coming to an end of our opening ceremony. Thank you so much to all the speakers and all the attendees who have been there for too long with us. So at the end, we would like to discuss a bit about for the schedule for 10th and 11th October, all the events. So we will have AIChE party, which will witness an exhilarating quiz that is sure to wreck the nerves of both the participants and the audience from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 10th of October. See, it is.
We'll have the ChemiSafe event on the 10th of October from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It will put the tactical and the problem-solving skills of the participants to great heights. Next, the first workshop will be held on 10th of October from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. It will be on MATLAB.
Our second workshop will be on Aspen, that will introduce you to the software and also teach you stuff that you have never heard of from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on 10th of October.
Okay, the poster and paper presentation will be held on 11th of October from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
K-12 outreach, where the participating teams will have to prepare and present interactive modules for engaging K-12 students from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. 11th of October.
The president and ESC meet, where the president and executive student committee members from participating AIChE student chapters will discuss about their ideas for the future and also about the host for the next SRC from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. 11th of October.
We will have guest lecture by Professor Ed Scott Fogler, who will address the attendees as the eminent guest of Prajwalit from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on 11th of October.
The closing ceremony will be held on 11th of October from 7 p.m. onwards. We'll have a few speeches and the prize distribution. So we have reached the end of today's event, and be sure to come tomorrow. We'll have all the events starting from tomorrow. See you all tomorrow. Best of luck for the event. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Stop sharing.
Thank you. At last, I would like to thank all the chief guests, Professor Yunus Cengel, Professor B.K. Dutta, and Mr. Devashish Chakravarti sir for their valuable time. We all have been, as chemical engineers, we have been inspired by the books of Professor Cengel, Professor Dutta, and today we came across this opportunity to have this great session with you all. So on behalf of everyone here, I would like to thank you all for this wonderful session. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to all of you. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.